We often see children imitate what they've seen. And I believe there's a tendency to dismiss that as sort of rote and sort of copying and not necessarily high-level thinking. They're just remembering an image and they're acting it out. But I hope after you watch Tyler pretend to cut down a tree with a chainsaw, that you realize there's a lot of invention in imitating. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, those are nice. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you. So, no doubt, Tyler had seen his father cut a limb down from a tree outside. They were probably a few days earlier. But this is we're on vacation in North Carolina, so this must have been weeks after he saw his father cut down the limbs. And I'd also want to call this a version of early symbolization. He's inventing symbols to represent this event that he saw some weeks ago. And we talk about invented spelling a lot and how powerful that can be, and we should allow children to invent spelling so they can then self-correct. Same here. I think this is something you don't want to tell Tyler, oh, you're not doing it right. You want them to flow because you learn by repeating and thinking about what you're doing. Remember, this is the important part about high-level thinking. You're thinking about what you're doing, and then you say, I think I can do it better next time. So that's the editing. So what he's done, and this is where I think it's clever. Remember, we want to catch children being clever, is that this is a bicycle pump, and this is a plastic, it's actually a tent stake, thing you drive on the ground to hold the tent up. So it's kind of long and somewhat tapered. And he's holding it at the thick end and pretending that it's the chainsaw. Now, how is he going to represent the limb falling? What he does is he lifts the bicycle handle up. Remember, this is the pump, so this telescopes up. And as he's cutting it, he lowers it. Now, that's not how a limb really falls, but it's a pretty invented symbol, pretty good invented symbol. So that's one thing that he does. He makes this incredible buzzing noise with his mouth. He even goes into idle when he's not cutting it. So listen for that. And notice that when he's cutting, what he does to represent, this is a chainsaw because his voice clearly is the motor of the chainsaw. But notice what he does with his hands, and then we'll talk about it. So this is early symbolization, inventive, very creative, what I would call high-level thinking. That wasn't part of what he intended, the falling of the pump. Just an accident. think it's a cold day. He's going to have trouble starting his chainsaw in a minute. You think that might be the choke on the chainsaw, adjusting the fuel supply. Cold day. You see what he's doing with his hands? Okay, so what are some of the symbols that you could read? And what are some of the symbols you think you might think they're not quite what they could be? What did you see that you thought was clever in this video?
The sound was amazing. It sounded just like a chainsaw.
Okay, no, the sound was the buzzing of the lips. Anything within that category you thought was especially noticeable? Remember, we're doing microanalysis, so we need to get down to the details of a category. The sound, what about the sound?
How it was slowing down is varied. It's not the same sound.
It's not the same, it slowed down.
It slows down. It's taking a while to get it started.
Yeah.
Just like it is in real life.
Yeah, just like it is in real life. Yeah, when he got close to the end, it would slow down.
It slowed down,
Yeah.
and it was varied. The sound.
Yeah. And remember when he pulled on the chain to
Yeah,
start it,
it
he didn't
was-
make a noise at all because,
And he was getting frustrated.
yeah, it was like he was really into this.
That was, I thought, clever.
I'm sorry?
I said, I thought that was clever.
Yeah, no, that was clever. Clever again because he's having to invent these symbols. He's not copying someone copying. He's inventing how to copy. So that makes it high level. He's not copying what someone has taught him to do to copy, but he's inventing this. So the word copy, I think, we need to rework. We need to elevate that to a higher level and not just dismiss it as rote. There are certainly things children do that are rote. Let me give you an example. This was a special needs child. This was in the school Nashville, as a matter of fact, Dorsey. And this little girl had been taught how to put jigsaw puzzles together. And very patient teachers. And so I watched this. This little girl took a piece and it wouldn't fit. She was jamming it in this space that it didn't go in. She tried it 3 or 4 times and it wouldn't fit. And then it was like a light went off in her head. She brightened up, she held it up like that. She took her finger and she traced the contour of that piece. And when she finished tracing it, she started jabbing it again in the same place. What that meant to me was she was copying this action, but she had no idea what it meant. That the reason you do that is to help you encode the shape of that piece so that you can better match that piece to the space. But it was rote to this child. So children do copy things and they don't understand it. But I would dare say that's not the case here. This is completely invented. He wasn't taught how to do this. He wrote the script. The action of the saw, of course it took us a few times to notice this. He was doing the saw like this. Well, that's what you do with a hand saw, not with a power saw. The power saw has a chain that spins and you just hold it So the appropriate action for a chainsaw would be like this. But since he knew he was sawing, you see how he made a hybrid symbol. Now that too is very creative. He's doing this because he knows usually that's what's required. So this is very much his invention, and to his credit, and to the credit of this household that gave him the time and space. And there I was with my video camera doing backflips because I knew this was going to be something I wanted to show. And it's up on our website. Okay, now I'm going to let you watch an older group, and we're going to have fun with this one. I just presented this at Albuquerque, a premiere. And take your time with it. I guess we'll watch it. Oh, it's like 7 minutes. But I won't be a spoiler and tell you how it ends, but it's well worth watching.